Good morning, everyone. My name is Tony Sapienza, and I'm the president of Joseph Abboud Manufacturing. Welcome to our factory here on Belleville Avenue, and welcome to the mayor of the city of New Bedford, to Jon Mitchell. I just want to take a few minutes to introduce him and to introduce you to my company and to why we're having this press conference here. Joseph Abboud Manufacturing employs 800 people here in New Bedford. We are at the heart of a number of manufacturing companies, my neighbors across the street and up the street, that have been very supported by this mayor and this administration. In my role as president of the New Bedford Economic Development Council, I can tell you that I have worked on an almost daily basis with this mayor. He is my friend, and he is a friend to business, and he's certainly a very good mayor for the city of New Bedford. He has, over the 3.5 years of his administration, we've seen growth in this city in all areas, and I am delighted that he has chosen this location to come to talk about his plans for the future. And without further ado, I will introduce Jon Mitchell.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the warm introduction, and thank you most of all for all of your leadership in the city, not just here at this fabulous company, but also as the chairman of the Economic Development Council, which has its hands in and is driving economic development throughout the city and job creation. And your leadership is really indispensable. I am here today. I'm glad. I can't tell you how pleased I am today to be joined by my wife, the busiest person in our house, my wife Ann, who, as you all know, does, as is often referred, as the Lord's work and saving women's lives at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And I will get right to the point today because I don't want to delay her going into work, because her work is so important. But she's here today because really it's a way of emphasizing that our efforts here in the city are, for us, a family affair, but for the wider city, a community effort to build a bigger, a better, stronger city. When I ran for office 4 years ago, when I first ran for office, I said that my #1 priority would be to help create good jobs. More good jobs means more residents purchasing homes, more New Bedford kids going to college, more money being spent in local businesses and on local charities, and above all, more confident, more vibrant community. The record of the last 4 years speaks for itself. It is a record of expansion and increased opportunity for our city's residents. And we meet here today at the Joseph Abboud Manufacturing Company, Joseph Abboud Clothing, because it exemplifies as well as anything the expansion that this city and particularly manufacturing, and particularly in the North End, are undergoing right now. And it's actually fortuitous. We had planned to be outside today. It's actually better to be inside, not just so that we stay dry, but because we could hear the hum of this place behind us. That is the hum of people at work. It is the hum of people working at jobs that enable them to fend for their families, to put food on the table, to send their kid, to save money for college, to live a good life in our great city. A good job is the best social program government, better than any social program that government can come up with. And our efforts have been aligned from day one to promote it. Here at Joseph Abboud, there has been created nearly 300 jobs in the last 3 years. 300 jobs. And that growth is attributable to the great leadership of Tony Sapienza and the hard work of the folks who you hear working behind me. It is the dedication to excellence that we're here today that is exemplified by Joseph Abboud. And I'm proud to wear a suit manufactured in this place, and I'm even more proud to be the mayor of a company like this that calls New Bedford home. Mayor of a city where a company like this calls home. And it isn't just here. We're here in the North End on Belleville Avenue a place that just a few years ago had shuttered mills and very little activity, and is now a place that is vibrant with job activity, with economic activity, with the tangible signs of growth. If we were outside, if it weren't raining, we'd be pointing to Precise, led by Dave Slutz. My friend Dave Slutz is right there. We'd be pointing to Darn It, led by Jeff Glassman, who was here today. We'd be pointing to Titleist and the hard work that they do. All great companies, all growing, all have grown hundreds, literally hundreds of jobs in this city in the last 4 years. It's happening here. It is happening here, and it's happening not just here, but it's happening all over the city. It's happening in the industrial park, where our manufacturers have grown, and new manufacturers are moving in, creating more jobs still. It's happening in the downtown, where more businesses are springing up, and where there is a real restaurant scene now, and larger festivals than there ever have been before in the city's history. It's happening on the waterfront, in the port of New Bedford, which is the leading commercial fishing port in the United States, and a rapidly growing cargo port, and a port now that is poised to jump on the next wave, the next renewable energy wave in the United States, and that's offshore wind. All of this is happening. The city right now has tremendous momentum. There is tremendous growth. To put some numbers on it, in the last 4 years since I took office, there has been the growth of nearly 3,000 jobs in the city. The city has shaved nearly over 5 points from its unemployment rate since the beginning of January in 2012. These are staggering feats for a city that has been plagued for decades with chronic unemployment, with a stagnant tax base, and that has struggled, that has been spinning its tires. New Bedford is moving ahead, and it's moving ahead rapidly. So we need to keep this momentum up. This city is on a roll. We have come far, but we have far to go. And we can't afford to skip a beat. Not now. And so that is why today I am announcing my candidacy for re-election for the mayor of the great city of New Bedford. I would be the first one to tell you that government is not primarily responsible for job growth. It is, again, the hard work of the private sector. It's risk-taking and good leadership by the individuals that I've introduced here today. But government does play a role because businesses have to grow somewhere, and they make those choices based on some things. And when it comes to government, they need government to be transparent. They need government to be attentive to business needs. They need a government, a local government in particular, more than the state or the federal government, that is dedicated to getting things done. That's what we've been about in my administration. We've been about getting things done. We have not shied away from challenges. We have not made excuses. When I ran for office 4 years ago, we pledged that we would deliver the kind of government that businesses need and that our residents deserve. And we have delivered on our promises. I pledged that we would not sit idly by while our schools teetered on the brink of state takeover. It was very real at the time. Tough decisions had to be made. And I can tell you, without naming names, there are a whole list of experienced politicians, both elected and formerly elected, who came to me and said, don't hitch yourself to the school system. Urban schools are too tough to turn around. It doesn't make sense for you. It's not wise. And I told them, if I'm running for office and I'm not dealing with the schools, I'm not giving it an honest day's work. And so we made the tough decisions. We made the change in leadership. We brought transparency and competence to the system, and it's working. We didn't hesitate once. And so today, we're on the right track. Turning the schools around in New Bedford is indispensable to this city's success. It has to happen if we are to compete, as we must in a global economy, and if we are to deliver the kinds of services, the education that we are morally obligated to deliver to our children in this city. We're going to make that happen, and we are making that happen. So what have we done? The entire front office has been reorganized. The way that we bus kids, the way that we deal with school finances, the way we deal with personnel, the way we evaluate teachers, the way the computer systems work, everything has been changed in the system. And look, it's working. It's working. We are proud that now, some 4 years into it, our dropout rate is the lowest it's been in nearly 15 years. We have increased school spending by some $15 million over the last 4 years. We have now real traction in our school system. We're on the right track. But don't take my word for it. Ask families in the system. In a recent community survey with over 3,000 respondents, 72% of families indicated that the schools in the city are moving in the right direction. They're moving in the right direction. And don't take their word for it. Look at and open up today's newspaper, which reports on what the state, which had threatened, the same state agency that had threatened to take over the school system some 3 years ago, is saying now. Here's what the state says. This is today's paper. City schools are on the right track. That is something to be proud of. That is hard work. This didn't happen by accident. It happened because we focused, we didn't make excuses, we made things happen, and we're going to continue to make things happen. This isn't an overnight exercise, but we're not going to accept, as some people suggested a few years ago, and even some folks today, that what we had before was good enough. It wasn't good enough. I reject that notion, and I know you do too. When I ran 4 years ago, I pledged that we would run government transparently and competently, and in an era of tight budgets, we would stretch taxpayer dollars further than they'd ever been stretched before. So how have we done it? How have we done? Well, we've reined in spending. We've consolidated departments, and we've collected unpaid taxes. To address the capital needs of a city that has over 90 buildings, we've created the city's first capital improvement plan and are actually going back and fixing those buildings and looking good. Don't take my word for it. Stand in front of City Hall and remember what it looked like some 4 years ago. It's a big difference. We've also made sure that we create a culture of excellence in our city government. We have a city government, if you include the school system, that has some 3,000 employees. It's a big enterprise. What have we done? We've created something called the New Bedford Way, which is a statement of values about service to city government, about a dedication to excellence, about constantly improving ourselves, about dealing with the public in an honest and upright way. Those are the values that we stand for as a city. Again, good enough is not good enough anymore in New Bedford. We're trying to be the best, and we're striving to be the best, and along all these fronts, and we are succeeding now, and will continue to succeed in the years ahead. We've also been, and you've heard this before, in the area of efficiency, not a sexy topic. We have cut spending and energy in ways that should make every resident proud. When the Wall Street Journal says that New Bedford, Massachusetts, has done more municipal solar per capita than any city in the United States, except Honolulu, which doesn't get days like this, we should be proud. That's a big, big accomplishment. And look, don't take my word for it on how tight of a ship that we run. We run a tight ship. But again, don't take my word for it. Look, just ask the Wall Street rating agencies, which rate every municipality in the United States about how well things are run and how well they pay, how reliably they pay their bills. We have achieved the highest bond rating in the city's history, in the city's entire history. Not by accident, not because we've hoped for the best, but because we've made hard decisions as we must. That's what leadership is about, and that's what I've delivered, and that's what I will continue to deliver for our city. When I ran 4 years ago, I pledged that we would make neighborhoods safer and more pleasant to live with. live in. Ladies and gentlemen, crime is down in the city. Folks who have seen, looked at the paper the other day, who worry about crime should take heart. The work of our police department is making a difference. It is making a big difference across our city. Crime is down some 13% from the first 6 months of last year to the first 6 months of this year. Those are the latest statistics. It's on the right track, and it's on the right track because we have an effective police chief who knows how to lead well and uphold the highest standards of excellence and professionalism in the department. With hardworking, competent, dedicated police officers, we've been at it when it comes to the things, to the roots of crime. We've wiped out graffiti in the city. We have hit absentee landlords really hard. I am no surprise to anybody, I am not on any absentee landlord's Christmas card list. We have, over the last 3 years, gotten after it. We've made absentee landlords in this city treat their properties like they would their own homes. That's the standard here in New Bedford, and we will not waver from it. But our city is also, our neighborhoods have also become more pleasant places to live. We've built 3 new parks in the last 2 years. 3 new parks. We've planted over 1,000 trees. We've filled the potholes. We complain about potholes, and we should. But this city's doing it better than anybody. Since it stopped snowing, we've filled 10,000 potholes. That's more than Boston has done in the same period of time. Boston, that big city 60 miles to the north that has an awful lot more money than we do in resources, we're doing it better than them. We have more festivals in the city than we've ever had before, bigger and better than ever. Don't take my word for it. Go out and behold the physical changes in the city. It continues to evolve, it continues to improve. We're going to continue that in the next 4 years, next 2 years. Check me out, not too fast. We should be proud of what we together as a city have accomplished, and I emphasize the we here. The record speaks for itself. It has not happened by accident. We didn't sit back and just hope for the best. We took action. We made things happen. And that is the approach that I've taken since day one and will continue to take in the next 2 years. The story of New Bedford in the last 3 years, 3+ years, is this. More jobs, safer streets, fewer dropouts, and better managed government. All of it has led to more optimism in our city, as it should. We have done the things to make our city come alive again. New Bedford is on an upward trajectory right now. The city, make no mistake about it, the city is on the rise. We will continue to push forward aggressively, and we will not, and we cannot afford to skip a beat. This is a critical time for our city. We can either slide backwards or forge ahead. Let's forge ahead. Let's continue to reform our schools so that every child has a full shot at the American dream. Let us continue to make the hard choices in government so that we have stable finances and can afford that which we desire in the long run as a community. Let's continue to expand our maritime industries and our manufacturers and reconnect our downtown with our waterfront, and so that we have a downtown like none other in the United States, and a waterfront that creates good jobs and across maritime industries. And we will continue to make the tough choices when it comes to finances, when it comes to schools. We will not make excuses. Whatever the matter is, we will take on the tough challenges of our city, because that's what our residents deserve. They deserve our best, and they deserve for us to work together to make those things happen. I love this city. I am proud to raise my kids here. I'm proud that my roots are here. I feel blessed. I feel blessed that I have the opportunity to get up every morning and work hard to improve the lives of our city residents. It is gratifying to me, and I'm not running just for gratification. We're all in this together. We're making it happen. We should take confidence that things are getting better, and things will continue to get better if we continue to believe that they will get better if we work for it. So let's roll up our sleeves. Let's prepare to do that work. And in the next 2 years, let's get after it again. Thank you very much, everybody.